Alright, you're getting hung up on can't, and I'm not saying you can't, I'm saying that it's illegal.
No, but it's not illegal.
Says the guy who knows nothing about the law.
I can absolutely keep a hummingbird as a pet, bro. It's no different than having a parrot of a parakeet. It's a bird, bro.
You really can't, and I'm not saying I agree with it. It's just that bird law in this country, it's not governed by reason.
There's no such thing as bird law.
Yes, there is.
You know what? I'm gonna get a hummingbird and I'll show you.
Hummingbirds are illegal tender.
I'm gonna get one.
You cannot.
To spite you, I'm gonna get one. Now, where are we with gulls?
You can keep a gull as a pet, but you do not want to live with a seabird, okay? Because the noise level alone on those things, if you heard a gull up close, it's gonna blast your eardrums out, dude. Welcome to Alternative Facts, where we don't get paid, no one listens, and we don't give a shit. In case you didn't notice, that entire opening was based off of one of our favorite episodes of the greatest show ever, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This entire episode is going to be about that show, so if you don't watch it, I need you to pause this right now, watch all 11 seasons on Netflix at least once, and when you realize it's the best show ever, then come back and listen to this entire thing. I'll wait. Okay, now for everyone that has seen the show, let's get started. Sean?
Alright, so this is going to be an unconventional episode, obviously. So it's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of power rankings. Our first power rankings are going to be our top 5 favorite Sunny episodes.
Right, and have you seen all the episodes, or are you still halfway through 14? Or 12, sorry.
I'm caught up on the new ones. There's like 1 or 2 I haven't watched in previous seasons, but that was by choice.
Okay.
Because they just looked stupid.
Fair enough. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be the World Series defense.
Oh.
Where they get stuck in the hotel for 3 days trying to sneak into the World Series, where Dennis's car racks up a litany of parking tickets while they commit a series of violations, in the other hand, that are greater than the parking ticket. You have the scene where they're trying to get the tickets back from the bug bomb apartment.
Oh, right, and they had the hose, and they're all like...
They're breathing through it like a scuba mask. You have Charlie getting beaten up by Green Man by a bunch of overpassionate Philly fans. You have Mac trying to get a love letter over to Chase Utley.
Oh my god, it could be a real home run.
And then, of course, the scene in court when they are doing push-ups against each other.
Oh my god, when they pan back to the court and they're actually doing the push-ups in front of the judge, that one about kills me.
Now, let the record show that he was starting to slow down.
Yeah, and what Matt says, let the record show like 16 times.
Oh my god, they say let the record show all the time.
That's a great one. Especially since it's it was filmed like around the World Series. They were talking about how they actually had tickets to the game. They were so excited, and naturally they blow it. It also is one of my favorite lines, which is oh yeah, anytime there's a potential riot, I'm getting blasted on green alcohol.
What about when they're in the courtroom and they look at the courtroom typist and they get mad because they don't want to be paraphrased?
Right. I don't think you're typing very quickly. I don't like being paraphrased. And she's kind of sitting there going click, 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 click.
Number 5.
Number 5 for me is The Gang Solves the Gas Crisis. Now that is one of the most iconic episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because that's where they set up like the precedent that the looks, the brains, and the wild card. And that about kills me because just the discussion at the beginning about the electricity is hilarious because Charlie's trying to power the bar with a gas generator, which is retarded because gas costs 1,000 times more than electricity.
Especially at that time when gas prices were through the roof.
Right, and that's the whole reason that they made the episode because it's like the gas prices are through the roof. So the gang's like, let's buy it low and sell high, even though it's super high at the time. So it's a classic episode. And then going to the gas station and filling up just barrels
Trash
of gas.
barrels.
Yeah, filling up trash cans, which the gas would eventually erode through.
Oh my god.
Right. So you can't put gas. That's why you have to put gas in those certain containers. Yeah. So obviously they're so stupid. And then Dennis bitches once again about ruining the interior of my car, and I just won't have it. It's such a great A plot. And they go to the door and try and sell gasoline, and then one of my all-time favorites is Charlie is there as like a oh man down from Texas, and then he comes back into the car. What happened? Well, Wildcard here decided to lose his mind. I say that's just damn preposterous, boy. And now he's Foghorn Leghorn.
You know what quote you're leaving out there?
What's that?
You best get to stepping because the tiny laws are coming.
God, Charlie dressed in costumes is just the best. It's just the best.
Well,
and then, not even to mention the B plot where Frank is spying on Bruce, who we think is Bruce Mathis, and they end up destroying that guy's car like 6 times.
While you just sit inside and watches golf all day.
Right, exactly. And I just love that they have this song in it when everything goes crazy.
Absolutely. Anytime they crash into the car.
Well, right, and they have anytime anything goes to shit, that's your iconic Sonny music. So The Gang Sells the Gas Crisis is my number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is going to be the very first episode I ever watched of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Thundergun Express.
Oh man, I love that one.
First off, they get blocked out by Obama's traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone dishes Dennis, and what's the iconic line is, "We'll come back for you."
We'll come back for you! Right, and then of course, everyone splits up, that's the best part of the show. They split up and do their own thing. So Dennis is listening to his sex tapes and listens to one of him trying to bang a 16-year-old, right? And then he hits the girl's car, and it's that smoking hot Mexican chick, right? And then Frank gets left behind because he can't catch up to the train.
Right. So then he hijacks the boat, and then he has to surrender to the cops.
Never surrender. I surrender.
Mac can't ride the guy's bike, so he's screwed. And then he.
I love that. You like this helmet? Yeah, it's pretty Thundergun, isn't it?
Remember,
Stop using it as a verb. It's a man's name.
Thundergun out on the curb up there. He also is too fat to fit down the sewer. You have Charlie and Dee with their moment in the sewer.
Right, and then Charlie goes, for the first time, really, he goes into how much he and Frank are down in the sewer, climbing around. They take their clothes off and put them up so that when the water comes in, it doesn't stick up their clothes. Oh, that's so nasty.
And then, of course, the final scene in the movie theater, not just the bomb threat, of how they yell over everyone in the audience so they can all sit together.
We need to try that because I feel like that would be awesome.
Oh my god.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
If we don't get thrown out of the movie theater for bringing in food. Number 4.
Number 4 for me is the Serial Defense. So this is a great one. It's one of the later great ones. It's the end of season 8. But it is so good. It's just the gang in their natural habitat in the bar just arguing constantly. And you know, it hits on Frank's being completely senile. Hits on Dennis being angry. It was one of the first times where he's like, everyone who does not know that is a savage and an idiot! And he loses his damn mind. And then all of a sudden, it becomes a court case. He's like, why? Because the tables. You know, I was against that too. And so Mac becomes the judge/bailiff. And so then they're all just arguing back and forth, and I love it. The best part, obviously, is when Dee and Dennis try to make Mac lose his credibility because of evolution.
On evolution, of course.
And he goes under this huge argument about the stupid science bitches and made him look like he and everyone in the world looked like a huge boom bitch. And then every time he did that, there's that bell that goes dong,
yes.
And it shows Charlie's face, and Charlie's mind is just blown because he's a complete idiot. God, I love that. And then at the end, Mac's like, and then of course it's, have you seen these fossil records?
Have you poured through the data?
Have you poured through the data? And then he's like, dare I say it, faith, dong, and that bell. Oh, that kills me every time. And then of course at the end, you know, they all shit goes loose at the end, but then in the end, when Mac is in the car with Dennis, he's like, you gotta admit, I swayed you on evolution a little bit, right? Dennis is about to be like, a little bit, and then they hit him in the back, and so the whole thing ends, and then everyone goes to shit. They all blame Dee, but I just love the way that episode rolls. It's just the gang in their natural habitat, genuinely just arguing with each other. I mean, there's only one other character in that movie, and that's the guy who's in the background.
Right.
It's incredible. What do you got?
My number 3. Do you know what Murphy's Law is?
Whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
That is the exact way that the worst bar in Philadelphia goes.
Oh my god. They keep kidnapping people.
First off, you have the scene where they go to the reviewer's office and they smash his clock and say he's out of time.
You're out of time, bitch.
That never gets old.
It doesn't.
That's something you see out like one of those badass 80s killer movies.
Mm-hmm.
They have him tied up in the back in the Oriental rug because they're ridiculously expensive.
Right.
They don't know how to establish an alibi.
Right.
You also have the scene in the bathroom where they're trying to figure out how to let him go to the bathroom.
Oh my god. And they always run out of duct tape. Like every time they talk about it in every episode, they always run out of duct tape.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
And then, of course, at the end, they're wondering, like, well, shit, we're going to jail. But then you realize, in the paper, I decided not to press charges or identify these people. They get mad that they're not even being recognized
Right, so they go back, and at the end, Charlie grabs the hammer. I mean, that is classic. But my favorite part about that one is how much Charlie hates. I hate this guy. This guy's a weasel. And he's like, and he comes up with the idea to knock him out, put yesterday's newspaper in front of the door, so that he thinks it's all a dream. And they're like, this is never gonna work. And then he smashes his head with a wine bottle. He's like, all right, well, you know what? Now that he's knocked out, we might as well go with that. And then they put him in the wrong apartment. I mean, oh right,
And the cat is insulin.
right. The cat's diabetic, and they give away Dennis's TV.
Oh, right, the TV and the Blu-ray player of the settlement.
There's just, right, and it's just the gang at their best. And it was one of the few episodes after the beginning of season 2 where Frank wasn't in.
Right.
There's only 2 episodes that Frank wasn't in. It was that one, and it was Max banging the waitress. That didn't even have D.
Really?
Yeah, it was just Mac, Dennis, Charlie, and the waitress.
Nice.
All right, my number 3 is an older one. It's Mac bangs Dennis's mom.
Ooh.
It is the ultimate episode that shows them scheming against each other. Remember, because Charlie hears that Max is banging Dennis's mom, right? And so then he comes up with this scheme that he's like, I can use D to make Dennis look like shit in order to get the waitress to sleep with Charlie.
It's not sex that I want from you. It's sex that I don't want from Dennis.
God, I love that. And then, and then you do such a great job. And then he's like, all right, time to move on to phase 2. No, there is no phase 2. This is over! He just screams at her. I love that one. And then, at the end,
really bad on playback.
oh, I'm sure it will. But then, Dennis and Mac get into that fight on the front lawn. And,
Oh, right.
yeah. And then Dennis goes up to Mac's mom, who is, old and gross and fat and sit on her front porch smoking cigarettes all the time. And so she's like, you're an ugly man, Dennis. And he can't stand it because he hates being called, ugly. And she just does that. And then, one of my favorite parts is when Dee says to Charlie, how did you know your mom wouldn't sleep with Dennis? He's like, I guess I overlooked that. But, and the way it ends, it just all goes to shit. I freaking love it.
My number 2 is going to be the Dennis system.
Oh, man.
I mean, like, what is there to not love about the Dennis system?
Well, right, because that's like the episode when Dennis shifts from being creepy and banging all these girls
To a complete sociopath.
to this dude is fucking insane. I mean, that is, I think it was the first episode I saw.
Really?
I think, well, you showed me, you introduced me to Sunny.
Right.
I think that was the first episode you ever showed me. And I was laughing my ass off. It was such a good show.
I know you're going to talk about it soon, so I'll let you get more into it. But I mean, the first time they got into the Max system,
Oh, right.
move in after completion, I just lost it.
And then Frank goes for scraps. He just gets his magnum condom and a wad of hundreds and ready to plow.
No more thirds for Frankie. From now on,
Right.
seconds.
Also, it's the first time you hear the name, you should see him when he feasts. It's like a mantis. He's like, oh, call me Mantis. It was the beginning of Mantis Toboggan, which is obviously a running joke. It's also your name on a group chat, right?
It is.
Yep. All right, my number 2 is The Gang Exploits the Mortgage Crisis. So this is the one that we quoted from at the beginning. And it's just so damn funny. I mean, so Frank buys this house, and then he decides, hey, I have an idea. Let's keep it, and then wait till the market goes back up and flip it. Which was, it was a decent idea back then, because you could buy a house, and then the value would go up because it was around the housing crash. But then it goes to shit too. I mean, he goes in there. The people are still in there, right? And so they go in there. They change the locks. And they
Come on,
freak
let's go
out.
paint your rooms a color that's not stupid.
And then the kid says to Mac, dude, eat my boogers. You eat my boogers! And then, obviously, the best part about the whole thing is it's very little to do with Dee trying to be the surrogate mother, but it's Charlie and the lawyer. And so Charlie challenges the lawyer to a duel, which is asinine, because the lawyer's like, oh yeah, I got my gun in my desk, and wherever you are...
You never know who's going to walk into a law office
Right.
these days.
Don't worry, I'll find you. So Charlie spends the rest of the episode running away from the lawyer, while Mac and Dennis decide, hey, let's try and sell this house right now, which is completely deviating from the original plan. They try and sell the house as Good realtor, bad realtor. I mean, where the fuck did they come up with this stuff? I have no idea. It's a spectacular episode. There's so much going on. I love it.
And they did make a wonderful gay couple when they were trying to drive out the price of Dee's womb.
Oh right, it was one. I think it was the first time they talked about the top and the power bottom. I know they talked about that several other times.
Yes.
Several other times.
So there's countless episodes that I've said is number one, but for this countdown, I'm going with The Waitress is Getting Married.
Oh man, that's the box with the H on it for Hornets.
Have a quick H on this box just so no one knows it's Hornets.
Oh my god, that one's.
You have the bachelorette party
Oh my
over
god, where
at
Charlie's mom gets shit faced.
over at Dee's house and she throws the drink at the waitress, or at Dee rather.
Right.
You have Frank and Artemis going into Wendy's to have sex.
Oh my god.
Because she has to drop bacon bits in her hair.
I want to feel like a Cobb salad. I don't know why she wanted to feel like a Cobb salad.
I'm not a salad guy, so
Right, me either.
there's just so much going. What's the Mac and Dennis part of the episode?
The Waitress getting married?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Mac and Dennis part of the episode. I don't know. We'll figure it out in a minute. So my number one is the Dennis system, right? So the Dennis system is the first episode I ever saw, and it's still my all-time favorite. I mean, just the way he goes through goes through all his steps of manipulation is insane. And then I mean, like the face that he makes when like after he says, "It's for my grandmother. She's quite ill," and just stares at the camera.
Yes.
That is like a preview to the Dennis Franz Making a Murderer. Remember when he stares at the camera for like 10 straight minutes?
Yeah.
Right. So I mean that's pretty great. And then just the way he goes through it, and then he uses the voice modulator to make a phone call from a payphone to be a creepy neighbor. I mean, like, what in the fuck is going on? But you can't top at the very end when they go to the carnival and everything goes to shit. Charlie tries to get the guy to stab the waitress, and he stabs Dee. And then Ben ditches Dee because she's an asshole. And then Frank drops he tells Dennis he has the HIV, he has the AIDS, and then drops his Magnum condom. God damn it. That is so funny.
Really quick, the Mac and Dennis part of The Waitress is Getting Married, full-on rapist.
Oh, right! They get Charlie on a date!
I completely
Oh,
forgot
my
about
God.
Charlie's dating profile.
How did you forget about that? That is the best, man. Charlie's on that date, and he's just sweating profusely. He tries to trade shirts in the
Guy in the bathroom wouldn't give me his shirt. And of course, the milk steak.
The milk steak, right. I'll take a milk steak. And then, oh, man.
Alright, so the next thing we want to get into is some of our favorite scenes of It's Always Sunny. Not from a whole episode, just like
Right.
a certain excerpt of any random episode. Doesn't matter how we feel about it.
Right, all right. I'll go first on this one. So number 5 is the Pepe Sylvia scene. So this is the B plot of the episode where Dee gets a heart attack. So it's where Mac and Charlie are working in a mailroom at some corporation, and so Mac is upstairs trying to pull a what movie is that? Risky Business? Or?
Yes, Risky
He
Business.
tries to pull a risky business, right? Well, Charlie is actually doing the work, and he's losing his goddamn mind because it's way more work than his.
The mail never stops.
Right, there's more work than he can handle. So he goes on this giant conspiracy about Pepe Sylvia, and who the hell, who's Pepe Sylvia? I got boxes of Pepe Sylvia. And the best part is, you have no idea who it is, and then this imaginary guy, Barney, shows up. Barney's the one who tipped me off. Who? And then Charlie looks over, and he's gone. And then Max says, "You've lost your goddamn mind!" And Charlie just makes a face. Oh, it kills me. And then I do also love when he talks, the same scene he talks about, well, see, this stuff that looks the least important, I'm going to burn this. This
If
next,
it's important, they'll send it again.
right, and the next one is going to be, something that seems a little more important, and I want to mail this to myself, buy myself a few days, most of the time I just burn this stuff too. And this stuff gets delivered. I mostly burn that also. So he's just burning all the mail.
Doesn't one box go like halfway to Siberia?
Yeah.
Oh no, the pink slips go halfway
Yeah,
to
the
Siberia.
pink slips. They're not going to fire us. Why? We've already been fired. I saw 2 pink slips. I said I'm halfway to Siberia.
My number 5 scene is going to be from the underage drinking episode, the scene right before prom where Charlie is just in on all the high school gossip
Oh my
when
God.
Tammy walks in. That's Tammy, Trey's ex-girlfriend. This is a classic Tammy.
This is classic Tammy. Oh my god, that one's great. And they just, everyone's so pissed off. Shut up, Charlie!
Oh my! So, also continuing that scene, you have Tammy and Trey getting back together,
Oh, they both got what they wanted.
And then, God, what was it? Then they just they completely turn on each other at that because
Oh my god.
because Mac makes fun of them and like, wait, you're the one who's going to go stag to a high school prom when you're 27 years old.
Right, Mac only wanted to go because they were going, so he was jealous, and he's making fun of them for getting dumped. However, he's probably the bigger loser in the situation. The only person that ends up going is Charlie because his date, actually he was the first one who was asked there.
Right.
Right. His date wasn't trying to get back. She just wanted someone to bitch to about her ex-boyfriend. That whole episode is super solid. Like, it's probably the best episode of season 1. So my number 4 is, I already mentioned this, the scene at the fair in the dentist system. So, especially when Charlie goes in and he's like, oh, let me win a prize to demonstrate my value. She's like, there are no prizes. It's just a speed pitch game where you show how fast you can pitch. So Charlie's throwing it at like 22 miles an hour. And then obviously everyone else shows up and fucks it up.
And then, of course, when the waitress gets stabbed...
D gets stabbed.
D gets stabbed. No, you're supposed to hope that it hits a vital organ.
Right. Wrong! You hope it hits a vital organ, and you have to nurse her back to health, thus making her fully dependent on you.
That is just as good as Donald Trump saying wrong.
I think it is.
Just because of the high-pitched, immediate nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4 scene is going to be from a recent episode, The Gang Spies at the U.S., when they keep going into the restaurant and they're posing in different costumes, mysteriously ordering the snapper.
Oh, right! He's like, I'd like to order a snapper for this man behind me. This mysterious man behind me that I don't know. God, that one, I forgot about that episode. That is so stupid.
Every time they use that restaurant.
That waiter, that poor waiter.
I know.
He tied his shoes together.
Of course, obviously the best one is when they all have that Groupon that expires.
Oh, right, because they're all in the restaurant at that same night. And that's the entire episode filmed at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It's a Seinfeld move.
It's a total Seinfeld move. It is. All right, my number 3 is in that same restaurant. The first time they ever went there, though. It was Dennis and Dee get a new dad. Oh, my God. And then Frank flips shit because they go in there and he's like, you two aren't banging, are you? I am not banging my sister! And everyone stares at him. And then the mom walks in and is like, what have I walked into? And then they ask him, could Bruce be our real dad? Yeah, he is. Wait, you didn't think that was important to tell us? No. Frank loses his shit. I've been raising these 2 bastards! Does anybody else have any illegitimate children with my whore wife that I should know about? And he just, the Jesus Frank! And he loses his mind, has a stroke. God damn it, that's so funny. And everyone just screaming over each other the whole time. It's classic Sonny.
So I'm keeping the theme with my number 3 scene of Dennis's mom. It's a scene where after she dies and they're in the lawyer's office.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Dennis thinks that he's the one who makes up the will at hand, and
right.
They all completely turn on each other. Thanks for the house again, man.
Oh, that one's great.
I sort of one quote from the lawyers. I can tell you're very stricken with grief when he's when Frank is unleashing personal attacks.
Right, that poor lawyer. He's getting screamed at, and he has no idea what he's doing. And he's just like, who the hell are these people? Why are they yelling at me? And the dentist is like, hey, thanks, man. He's like, it wasn't me. They clearly have no idea what they're ever doing. And of course, the first appearance by Brian Unger, or the lawyer, in the show. So we'll talk more about that in a second. But so my number 2 is going to be Charlie on his date, which we already mentioned in your favorite episode. Charlie's in the date, and he is sweating profusely. Like, he is sweating through his shirt. He's got hornet scars all over his face. Hornet stings. And then she comes in, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I get a lot of hornet stings in my work. She's like, oh, where do you work? He's like, I'm a full-on rapist. Then he explains he's a philanthropist, and she's like, how does a philanthropist get hornet stings? And he's just like, I'm a janitor at a bar. I love that. And then he keeps sweating, and then Mac and Dennis both come in and pretend that they're like waitresses or owners of the bar to be his wingman. When, not both of them are just screwing up. And then obviously the peak of it is when Mac just says, Charlie, make a move. And he dives at her breast with his hands.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
You said make a move. You're not supposed to dive or stab at her breast with your hands. And they start screaming at each other, and eventually he says, well, the waitress is getting married, so suck on that. And Mac just has his hands in his face like, God damn it, Dennis. This is what we were trying to avoid. And then Charlie's like, I guess I'll take my milk steak to go then. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is going to be shit, what was it? I lost it. Oh, it's going to be the scene in The Gang Buys a Boat.
Great episode.
The implication scene.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was so
Because,
funny.
when you take him out onto international waters.
Right.
And it fits because it's not too long after you think that Dennis is a sociopath.
Right. You already know that Dennis pretty screwed up. He's like, she's not. I mean, she can say no if she wants to, but she's not gonna say no because of the implication. And then there's some woman staring at him. Who are you staring at? You're not in any trouble. Oh, so they are in trouble. And Dennis is like, God damn it! And I love that. And then you know what the coolest part is? Near the end of that scene, Dennis just goes. It's like Max says, we should buy the Steve Winwood CD. Okay. We have not been on the same page all day. I have all the Steve Winwood shit.
And first off, we thought it was Stevie Nicks.
Right, he thought it was Stevie Nicks. But no, Dennis is just like, we have not been on the same page all day. I absolutely love that. All right, my number 1 is the aforementioned scene in the lawyer's office. And it's all because of Frank. Frank is losing his shit because, what Barbara says, Bruce Mathis, a man with a better penis or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he's like, tell her she's a goddamn whore. And he's losing his mind. And it's just, and Danny DeVito has one of the best voices of all time. So him just screaming about how, tell her she's a bitch. I absolutely love that. And then Dee and Frank are flipping shit, and the lawyer has no idea what's going on. That is my number 1.
So my number 1, I'm going to go a little off the wall. I'm going to go to one that describes It's Always Sunny to a T.
Mm-hmm.
It's the gang gets trapped. And it's this line from this scene. We immediately escalate everything to a 10. Somebody comes in with some preposterous plan or idea, then all of a sudden, everyone's on the gas. Nobody's on the brakes. Nobody's thinking. Everyone's just talking over each other with one idiotic idea over another. Until finally, we find ourselves in a situation where we've broken into somebody's house, and the homeowner is home. That is the M.O. of It's Always Sunny.
It is.
To a T.
It's a pure summary. And I love that. I absolutely love that. But I'll tell you what. You know what else? You know what fits like hand in hand with that? Is the gang recycles their trash. When after they're done with the plan, that the plan's failed, they're like, we should get rugs for the bar. We should make rugs for a bar. I got a rug guy. Charlie's like, no, guys, we're getting so far off topic here. It's just how it works there, you know? It's exactly what Dennis described. Everyone jumps on board. Let's do this. It's 100% completely fail. I absolutely love that. Because at the beginning of that same episode, that's like the first of the repeat episodes, and Frank's like, how many times do we do something like this? They're like, all the time. How many times does it work? They're like, almost never. And so it's just, that episode complements the episode you mentioned in how they just describe themselves perfectly.
Okay, so there are 5 official 2-part episodes in It's Always Sunny. We have The Gang Gets Whacked, you have Mac and Charlie Die, A Very Sunny Christmas, The High School Reunion, and The Gang Goes to Hell. How do you rank those 5 through 1?
All right, so my least favorite of the 5, I'm going to have to say, is The Gang Goes to Hell. And the reason is because I've watched it 3 or 4 times, but there's not a lot of super quotable lines. I mean, obviously, Dee, like, screaming and attacking some bitch at bingo was pretty great. But then, the one line I'll always remember from that is the, Mac has a Cowboys jersey, and they're all Eagles fans. Like, what the hell, dude? And they're yelling at each other, and it's like, it better not be Romo. Of course it's Romo. As a huge football fan, that kills me. That one slays me. My number 4, I'm going to say, is The High School Reunion. I love part 1 of it. I don't love part 2 as much.
Part 2 is not that good.
It's all right. I mean, they close it up, and what's his face? Schmitty bangs the waitress, obviously. But yeah, part 1 is so much better because you just have all this stuff happening. You don't really need to conclude it. Charlie at the end of, I think the end of the first one, he like huffs that carbon monoxide, or no, it's what does he huff?
I don't know what it was.
Hydrogen peroxide, I think. He huffs that, and he just passes straight out. You know what happens when you mix those? Hey, I know how to do my inhalants. He inhales it, and just boom, he's on the floor out. So that one's very funny, but the second part was kind of weak. Number 3 is going to be The Gang Gets Whacked. I love The Gang Gets Whacked. That is a spectacular pair of episodes. We'll talk more about this one once you give yours. Number 2, I have A Very Sunny Christmas. Just the scene with Frank coming out of the couch is something else. It is like Sunny on a new level. And number 1, I say it is Mac and Charlie Die.
Okay.
What would you say?
So I don't like the Christmas episode that much.
Really?
Never been a fan of it. I usually skip over when I'm watching through.
Seriously? But
The-
Frank comes out of the couch.
It doesn't do it for me. So that's my number 5. My number 4, like you, is the high school reunion.
Mhm. Good, but not great.
Number 3, I'm gonna go Gang Goes to Hell. Like, I didn't love it, but like, my 4 and 3 are very interchangeable to me.
Okay.
Number 2, obviously gonna be the Gang Gets Whacked.
Gang gets whacked.
You have them selling the drugs. You have them getting shorted. You have
Her stealing the horse.
no, I'm not even there yet. I'm talking about Charlie's scene at the drug dealer where he is just completely
Many-
unsubtle.
You said many
History people,
many thousands of green people from history times.
thank you. Fresh nose clams that come off a truck from Colombia.
These nose clams make you want to dance the night away. And then Charlie says, "No, oh, I get it. Let's do the drugs, and that'll give us some ideas." And Dennis just shouts at him, "That's asinine," which is a great word, by the way, asinine.
Absolutely. Then them going to the country club trying to sell drugs. Charlie becoming a jockey.
Right, Mac and
Mac and D teamed up.
Frank's getting Dennis to be a whore, right?
Yes.
He's getting Dennis to be a prostitute. Mac and D get kicked out, and Charlie becomes friends with the jockeys and sells all of his drugs, and then ends up stealing the horse because the jockeys want to do a line off his dick.
The best part is when they make Mac walk home.
Oh my God! Why don't you walk on your 2 legs like the rest of the American people?
It's 40 miles. We
Yeah.
should.
That's only part 1.
Right.
That's only part 1. And then part 2. What's it? Part 2.
They have,
they meet up
Cricket
with-
sell the drugs.
One of my all-time favorite lines is the, "We're about 6 beers deep right now. You're gonna have to be a little bit more clear."
And someone saw you pick something off our truck, which may or may not be here.
Which may or may not be where we are or aren't. Do you catch my drift? And then he's like, "Friday is the day that we may or may not be forced to chop off your limbs and distribute them evenly amongst your friends and your family. And that day is Friday."
And obviously, number 1 is going. It's not even close. It's Mac and Charlie Die.
That's so good. I mean, the Dennis in the glory hole and his new roommate, and then was it D running through the park and almost getting assaulted, and
Frank with the new Charlie doll.
oh my God, the Charlie doll! Did you bang that thing?
You have
Glory hole.
oh, what was it? Of course, the opening scene in the courtroom at Luther's parole hearing.
Oh my God, they just keep trying to grab the microphone and screaming at each other.
The tape.
Oh my God, the tape. I'm gonna say he's gonna put it in my butt and Mac's butt. Are you gonna say that? I'll say something like that. It was like exactly what he said in the courtroom. I absolutely cannot. I can't stop laughing at that. Like it kills me every time.
No.
All right, so those are our 5 2-parters. So let's pop back up to our favorite quotes. Do you have just offhand? What are some of your favorite quotes that we haven't mentioned so far?
God, I mean, there's thousands. I'm gonna go. The first one I'm gonna do is the one where Dennis bangs the hay. I cannot remember the name of it. Oh, Gang finds a dumpster baby.
Oh my God, we haven't even mentioned that episode yet.
No,
It's
we
such
haven't.
a good one.
There's so many that we haven't even mentioned.
Why don't you go away, Narc? I see you here with your Birkenstocks and your fish T-shirt. Or that was later. He's like your cashmere moose.
I know your type. Straight edge, mainline, weekend warrior. Come down here, cashmere sweater. You moosed up, hairsprayed, coif. I think that's got
This is
punked out by a couple of hippies.
Oh my God! He's like, you can't just come up here with your moose coif. Was it your moose coif hairspray?
Yes.
Dennis, what the hell are you talking about? And then Charlie and Frank get like super obsessed with stealing trash from people. And what does Mac do?
Mac and D raise the baby.
Right, they raise the baby, and then that episode probably has the best ending of any of the episodes. When Mac and Charlie are fighting, Dennis and Charlie are fighting over the sword, and D and Mac are trying to paint the baby so it can look Mexican, so it can get on TV. And the child services walks in right as that happens. Oh, I love that. Also, Charlie screaming in the middle of the screaming about trash in the middle of the coffee shop where the waitress works. And then obviously Dennis's face when he bangs that guy's girlfriend.
Yes, that's very,
Bright red face.
very, very creepy.
Oh, and when he pulls out that giant bag of weed.
Yes.
I guess I'll just take my
kind bud.
So one of my favorites that we haven't mentioned yet is in an episode that we did mention. It was when Charlie first shows Dennis that Mac is banging his mom. He's like, "I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him," which I use all the time. But he's like, "Hey, dude, you can't do that. That's so stupid. You know why? Because killing him won't unbang your mom. You gotta bang Mac's mom." And Dennis just totally goes along with it.
I don't know how in the world he buys him, but he does.
I really don't. It's so dumb. Any other quotes you'd like to mention?
Yes, Mac is a serial killer. We talked about this last night.
Oh my god.
Committing a murder is like doing a dance. A beautiful dance with a chainsaw.
He makes less and less sense as the years go by.
Yes.
That's pretty great. I also want to mention an episode we haven't mentioned yet, which is Dennis Reynolds' An Erotic Life.
Yeah.
Right. And just the quotes from Sinbad. "Oh, you in Sinbad's house. So you're a bitch."
It's
then-
Rock Thomas Match 20. Sing a song. Shut up.
Right. It's just it makes no sense. It doesn't go anywhere. But then the Dee and Charlie, they talk about how Charlie tells Dee about how you have to drink beer, huff some glue, and then you'll be able to pass out, and you eat cat food, right?
Right.
Drink cat food too, because there's a million cats outside. It's the only way you're gonna fall asleep. There's some kind of
Because you have a bunch
reaction.
of cans of cat food lying around.
Right. And that's a great way to put it. And
Or what does he say? Like, there's 1,000 cats running around my building because there's 1,000 rats inside.
Right. There's 10,000 rats bottom of my building. And then obviously at the end when they all meet up at the fountain, when Frank pisses in the fountain because he got kicked out of the fountain as a kid, Dennis uses the fountain for his healing powers or something like that.
Yes.
And then Dee throws coins in to wish for a better life, and Charlie takes coins out. That's a great one. All right, what is your least favorite episode?
My least favorite episode is one that I've never even watched.
Which one's that?
It is Frank's brother. It just looks stupid.
You know what?
I might have watched it one time and it's been like, wow, like it's pointless. So like I never go back and watch it.
I'm not a fan. Like the idea is kind of funny that they're both in love with this black singer named Shad Dynasty, which is a great name too, Shad Dynasty. But yeah, you're right. That was not very good. My least favorite is the gang wrestles for the troops. It's not very funny. And it's cringeworthy because the way Dee screws over Ben the Soldier because she finds that he's in a wheelchair and just leaves and pretends to be someone else and lets him think that Artemis is the girl. And of course, Artemis isn't played by the actual Artemis. They got a replacement actress for that episode. So she looks a little bit different and it's so weird. And then Dee all of a sudden wants him back because she realizes, he's like, oh yeah, I just broke my foot or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not crippled. So then she tries to get back together with him and then Frank gives him the jean shorts.
Oh my god. The jean shorts kill me.
And then the fighting scene at the end is so stupid because everyone cheers for Cricket over Mac and Dennis because they make asses of themselves as the freaking Eagles and they look more like chickens. But then Frank comes in as the trash man and just almost kills everyone. I mean, it's so fucked up. But I'm not the biggest fan of that episode.
That's one that I can't tell you the last time I've watched it. It's been a while since I've gone through and watched Sunny straight through again, but it's probably one I would skip.
No, I agree with that. Which is funny because the gang wrestles for the troops is actually in the middle of season 5.
Which is maybe the best season.
I think it is the best season of Sunny. But, every other episode is solid, except for that one.
Yeah.
So, alright, let's take a break real quick.
Welcome back to a special Alternative Facts where we are discussing the greatest show on TV. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We are going to get back into it now with our favorite episodes from the last 4 seasons, which haven't always been as strong.
Right. Personally, I think the show really started to go on a tailspin after the Serial Defense, which is, as I said, one of my top 5 all-time favorite episodes. Mm-hmm. So, what are some of your favorites seasons 9 through 12?
Obviously, I think my favorite one is probably Charlie Work.
Charlie Work is very good. I love that one.
Because you have two moving parts. So you have Charlie trying to pass the health inspection, just moving parts left and right, and then you have the guy dropping off 5,000 steaks. I never understand why, because they're trying to pretend to be a steakhouse.
Right. Well, because they're doing the air mile scheme, which Charlie totally calls exactly what they're going to do. Well, lucky guess, Charlie. He like literally guessed exactly what they were doing. And he's like, don't pretend like you understand, because you don't understand. And then Charlie totally understood what they were doing. It's very funny. And then Frank is losing his mind, flushing his shoes down his toilet and painting his feet, right? As
Yes.
shoes. You have that. And then Dennis, Mac, and Dee are trying to do the airline scam. And so Charlie he orchestrates it so beautifully. It just shows you, this guy is so much smarter than the rest of them. But he's kind of stupid at the same time. He's kind of stupid. But no, I love how they do like the entire health inspection in one shot. I know Charlie Day apparently said, he said the whole show I've been asking him, can we do a one shot, like an episode with a huge single shot? Apparently there was some movie that did something like that, and he said he wanted to be able to do that.
And they nailed it.
Oh, they absolutely nailed it. And then of course at the end they don't give him any credit. They don't even credit him for bashing that thing bashing the stool that Dee ended up falling on.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Dennis is like, yeah, I think I did. Charlie's like, his face is just like, are you kidding me? Poor Charlie. All right, one of my favorites is the gang gets quarantined.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that one.
Seriously?
Yeah.
All right, we gotta watch that then. Gang gets quarantined is so funny. So the whole time it's cool because they're singing Boys to Men.
Yeah.
The whole time they're trying to
They want to be the they want to be the lead.
Right. They want to be the openers for Boys to Men because winning competition. So they're singing, and then the whole episode is just so funny because Frank's talking about how there's a flu epidemic going on, right? And so they decide to quarantine. He says we're going to quarantine ourselves, and Dennis says that's a good point. I'm for this. He's like, you know why? You know something you can't do when you have the flu? Matt goes, sing. They're like, yeah, sing. Dennis is like, was that not it? He's like, well, I wanted to say it. Oh, do you want to say it? He's like, he tries to say, he's like, no.
It's too late.
Right, it's too late. It's not worth it. Which is hilarious because like Dennis has to be the leader, and it's so funny. But then, obviously, as it goes on, everyone starts getting sick. So Dennis starts losing his mind. So they throw him in the bathroom and lock him in there. Then Dee is sneaking pizza from the pizza and beer from the ceiling of the room.
Yeah.
Oh, also, when Dennis calls at the pizza place and asks who called the order, oh, Spider-Man. Who could that be? And then Charlie's like, Dennis is Spider-Man. There's a stupid line in the middle. And then Frank says the phone's unplugged. Right, you unplug the phone. They end up kicking Dennis and Dee out. And then Mac and Charlie go to get food, and Mac has a breach. He has a breach. And then they kick Mac into the bathroom. And Frank keeps like trying to shave Charlie. So Charlie is eventually like, I want to hang out with you guys in here. And they're all super sick until they start drinking again. And this is like the moment that they realize that they're all severe alcoholics.
Yes.
They're like, shit. Well, what do you do with that information? Well, what do you do with any information? Put it in the back of your mind and keep an eye on it. And then they end up leaving, and Frank is completely lost his mind, shaved his head, and is crawling on the ground in like a trail of hand sanitizer. And it's just like what the fuck happened? Because you don't see any of Frank during that part.
Right.
You just see him trying to shave Charlie, and then Charlie leaves, and all of a sudden he's in his underwear. Ah, it's so funny. And then at the end they cancel the concert because of the flu.
How have Mac and Dennis moved to the suburbs?
You know what? I like that one. I like it a lot.
That, when I saw the episode guide for season 11, I looked at that one, and I thought it was going to be the best of the season. And I'm pretty sure, like, if I do a quick look at the list, yeah, it absolutely was the best episode of that season. I mean, it's so predictable. They completely bash on the suburbs. You have
Right.
Dennis getting stuck in traffic every single
You
day.
have a super friendly neighbor that Dennis wants to literally kill.
Boy, it's sure a hot one today.
Oh yeah. And then the pool filter and the smoke detector, which they never fix because Mac and Dennis just are such assholes. Or sorry, Dennis refuses to fix any of it. For some reason, Mac doesn't work at the bar anymore. He stays home.
Right.
He's a stay-at-home mom. He loses his mind. He buys him a dog, which he doesn't feed. The only job he has is to feed the dog. And he ends up letting the dog die. And then at the end, he feeds the dog to Dennis in Mac's famous mac and cheese, which he got out of the box, obviously. And he's like, does Dennis like Dennis? Oh, so funny.
And of course, every time, like, they're so sick of each other, when he just throws the mac and cheese down the hallway, it's amazing. And then, obviously, they have to make it 30. They have to make it 30 days. Otherwise, they have to sleep in a bed with an old black man for a full year.
Named Old Black Man.
And naturally, in the beginning of season 12, you see Old Black Man when they're watching The Wiz.
Right, yeah, they actually go through with the bed. And they all four of them sleep in the same bed as Old Black Man the rest of the show. Pretty great. My next one is going to be The Gang Beats Boggs.
Oh God, absolutely.
I love that one. I absolutely love it. It's classic. It's just literally the gang getting as trashed as they possibly can. Plus, Mac throws in a bunch of Bud Selig. He throws in a bunch of Bud Selig references, obviously, with the steroids and sweep it under the rug.
Right.
Frank drugs a frat boy because he says he's going to steal all their beer, right? And then, I lost my train of thought.
Wade Boggs.
Right. Wade Boggs shows up to give Charlie a pep talk. And then D, who thinks they're talking about Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard instead of Wade Boggs, he shows up to give D a pep talk. God damn it, that's funny. And then at the end, Charlie is shit-faced, and then he ends up like getting
tattoos that ball.
He knocks the crap out of that ball. It's like, well, I only brought one ball, and I don't really want to get it,
so it counts.
It counts. Let's go. And then, yeah, and then I guess they'd say, like, hey, let's go to a bar or something in L.A. because they flew all the way to Los Angeles, and it's pretty great. It's also a little bit of foreshadow because in the most recent episode to this date, Dennis actually knocks up a girl that he bangs in North Dakota. Right. Not the trailer, not the trash girl from that episode, but a different girl who has a nice North Dakota accent.
I need to go back and watch that episode. The Boggs episode. It's been a minute.
I love the Boggs episode. Did I tell you Devin and I tried to beat Boggs once?
Oh God, how'd that go?
I passed out next to a pool. I puked. Well, I drank 10 beers. I passed out next to a pool on like one of those pool chairs, so it was actually pretty great. Woke up, threw up, and then drank probably 10 more. So I put down about 20.
I'm not gonna try and beat Boggs because I'm going through some health issues. We'll get to that after. We'll get to that in our next episode.
Mm-hmm. What else you got? Want to toss one more?
It's not the best episode, but one I really loved from this last season was the old lady house because the laugh track tells you when to laugh, and it makes everything so much funnier.
Well, I think I love how Dennis only thinks it's funny if they don't know they're being watched, and it turns out you tape them talking about it. He's like, well, now it's funny.
Exactly, and they're like, when he tells Mac that he's gonna write his mom out of the show, like it's impossible to write her out of the show.
Right, exactly. No, I just love the way Mac tries to defend his mom so much, and how everyone else just shits all over Mac's mom like all the time. It's pretty good. I'm gonna mention one of my favorites, and the reason I love it so much is because it's a rehash of two of my favorite episodes. It's called Frank Falls Out the Window.
Oh yeah.
It's a rehash of Charlie gets crippled, and one other one in this. It's early season 2 basically. And so, like, they bring Frank to a strip club again. They get locked out of Charlie's apartment again. Frank thinks it's 2006. And Dennis and Dee try to steal money from him.
Uh-huh.
Is that Dennis and Dee get a new dad, right? They kind of copy off that or something? Yeah, I don't know. It's a big copy, but it's so funny. And he finally writes them a check for $2 million. Or like $10 million?
I forget how much it was.
Right. He writes them a check, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, this check is expired. They're so close to actually getting a shitload of money from Frank, and then Frank throws a few shots in there, and then they also interview people to live at their apartment because Frank's gonna move out. So they interview the one guy who assumes that because there's cat food, he has a cat, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, "What would you do with the cat food?" Well, it depends how hungry I am. Is there any scenario where you don't eat the cat food? No. I love that. And then Charlie tries to throw the waitress out the window so she can think of 2006, so we can get a fresh start with her. I mean, that is a classic episode. It's one of my. They do two or three episodes that are like repeats, and I love that one the most. Got any more?
No, those are the ones I wanted to get into mainly.
All right. So we got a couple more segments before we let you guys go. So conspiracy theory. So I'm telling you about a conspiracy theory that my sister and I have been working on for a while, and we thought of this I think after season 10. So. It's that Dennis is the serial killer from the Dennis and Dee. From Max the serial killer. The serial killer looked to be Dee's neighbor. I think it's Dennis.
Do tell.
All right. So step 1: how are the heads of the women that were killed in his fridge? Well, Dee had the guy's key, right? But remember how controlling Dennis is of everyone's lives besides him?
Yeah.
Besides his. Don't you think if Dee had the guy's key, Dennis would know about it?
Yeah.
Right. So Dennis uses that guy's key because he knew that the guy was out, right? He uses the key and it puts the heads in the fridge, right? Also, tied to that, remember in Charlie McDennis 2, they had to show love they had to make love with clay. Someone made a heart, right? I think Frank made a heart. Mac made a penis, and Dennis made a woman's face in a freezer to show like the frozenness or like the something like that, like everlasting love.
I don't remember that.
But it's a woman's head in a freezer. I'm like, oh my god, it's like the heads in the fridge in the serial killer episode. And then obviously the Dennis Reynolds making a murderer just shines more light on that. Dennis is a serial killer. But yeah, it's just funny. It seems like they keep dropping hints. Also, the way Dennis keeps getting super angry, like he gets angry when he's trying to sell his Range Rover.
Oh my god.
And the gang breaks up, or the gang misses the boat, sorry. And so in that episode, he tries to sell his Range Rover and he keeps losing his mind. And then when they try and get pills from a psychiatrist, when he's in the office with Dee, and how did you get these downers? Well, Dennis got him for being a real life psychopath because he just loses his mind. And then the way he talks about like how he knows so much about everyone's insights in The Gang Gets Analyzed.
Right.
I think Dennis is a serial killer. So it makes sense that you want to leave the North Dakota, right, and go by the name Brian, right, because it's Brian Jr. I think he goes to North Dakota and becomes Brian Jr. What do you think? Or sorry, Brian Sr.
I mean, it's plausible now that you bring that up. I never thought about it that
The
way.
head in the freezer sold to me.
That's really. I need to go back and see that because I completely overlooked that,
Exactly.
or I just don't remember it. So obviously, in between seasons, the news is that Glenn Howerton is filming a pilot over at NBC with Patton Oswalt. So that really, despite being renewed for 2 more seasons, there's a lot of questions of whether or not the show is going to continue without Dennis.
Right. They already posted that it's going to be pushed off until at least January 2018.
Well,
Sorry,
that's
2019. 2019.
Okay.
Right. So I don't know. Do you think they're going to continue the show if Glenn Howerton does not come back?
I think they will, because remember the final scene in the season finale was them blowing up his car with the rocket launcher?
Right. Which is if that's the way it ends, I love it. They blow up his stupid ass Range Rover with a rocket launcher to end the show. I like that.
I mean, you could just always continue on and just say Dennis died from that scene. Or he's in North Dakota.
Oh, right, because they never show if Dennis is in the car or not.
Right.
I never thought of that. That's pretty interesting.
So it's an interesting spin zone.
It would be appropriate if they all killed Dennis, because he kind of deserves it. The way he shits on everyone.
I would like to see him get the death penalty.
I would love to see them expand on the Dennis Reynolds making a murderer. Where they dig up like those heads in the freezer. They like dig all the heads up, and they're like, Dennis killed all these people, which wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't think they continue the show without Dennis. Dennis he's like the horrible glue that holds that show together.
He's the foundation.
He's the where does the foundation go?
At the top.
Up top, right. So I hope that they don't continue the show without Dennis, because he's one of the main characters. He's a great character. The gang is not the gang without the looks, right? Because Frank can't be the looks. Dee's already a useless chick. You can't do that. You have to have the looks, the brains, and the wild card. They set it up in season 4, and they have to continue it. I hope that the show ends on that note.
I just would like some better. I would like a better finale. Some actual closure. I want to know ahead of time, saying okay, this is the final episode. I'd be a little blindsided if this was the final episode.
But has any episode of Sunny ever given you closure?
But
no, it always ends with them yelling at each other.
I want to prepare myself for the final episode. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, I don't think you need to. Well, here's what I said. How I hope the show ended. They go on their hijinks. They all come back at the bar, and they all just yell at each other, yell over each other in the bar as the music plays as the show ends. Because that would it just sums up the show. It's a show about a bunch of psychos who just yell at each other all the time, and it's so damn funny.
Okay, so by the time that you guys listen to this, we are going to be off on our summer vacation. We will not be back for at least a month.
It's going to be a while. What day do you get back?
I get back 1 month from today.
June 16th?
Yeah.
Damn, okay, yeah. I get back on May 30th.
So what are you going to do with your summer vacation?
Alright, well, I am going with my family to Europe. I've never actually been to Europe before, so I'm looking forward to it. We're actually going to go to, fly into Hungary. We're going to go from Hungary to, and I'm going to use the pun. Oh, I'm so hungry right now. I'll use that a million times. So we're going to go Hungary.
You have to use it to the natives. Don't just use it to your family.
I don't think the natives speak English. I think they speak Hungarian. Yeah. But no, so we're going to be Hungary, Austria, Germany, and then Czech Republic.
Interesting.
You know the Czech Republic has the most beers consumed per capita per year in the world?
More than Ireland?
More than Ireland
And Germany?
and Germany.
Interesting.
I think Czech Republic's 1, Ireland's 2, Germany's 3, US is 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yep. How about you? Where are you going?
Well, I'm going to start off my vacation with a wedding on Saturday where my date is going to be the bartender. She doesn't know it yet.
Oh.
We'll get into that in a little bit. And then I'm going to spend 14 days. I'm going to spend 15 days down in Florida.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
So,
You go back to St. Petersburg?
of course,
Naturally.
this time of year it's not hurricane season, so it's not going to rain 8 of the 10 days that I'm there, unlike last year.
That sucks. Hey, make sure you drink some of that super sweet lemonade for me.
Oh my god,
That's just the
that
best.
pink lemonade
I
is
love
going to keep me going the entire vacation,
It was so good.
even when Brody's there.
Yeah.
Alright, so that is going to put a bow on this one. We will see you guys in a few weeks, depending on when you guys listen to this.
Later, boners.